Hi, I'm Catherine, the creator of Shia and the Jetsons Community Preservation of the Promised Land. Yes, I want to just give a shout out to every one of my subscribers that sent the rules and regulations of the Promised Land to, NBC, which is the DNC, and NBCUniversal.com is the people that are running this country is the television station network. So the people that put presidents in office is NBC Universal Studios, is ABC News. They're all the media. The media is the one that runs the narratives and run this country. So thank you so much for you guys sending the rules and regulations of the Promised Land to them, because they have to know that this is not their land that they're using. The resources that they're using against us is not theirs, so they have to give it back. And I just want to thank you because it's working. Because I was getting emails from Trump, because Trump was emailing me some emails like 2 months ago. I was ignoring it because I already sent him the rules and regulations of the Promised Land, and I needed him to go ahead and do what he needed to do. Anyway, so he did that, and I needed him to do that. You need to go ahead and, get a back spine, and you need to go ahead and file this lawsuit, sue these people, because they have to go. Yeah. So who he's suing is the same people we sent the television station network, so this is good. So this is good news, you guys. And then, and I don't hear nothing about no funky ass New World Order, because I told the crackhead, shut up. And so, anyway, so I just wanted to give a shout out. It's just really a quick video. But, here's
Well, the Biden administration and the Democratic Party are scared straight by all the latest leaks of information that have been spilling out over the past couple of months. Let's start first with this report on FoxNews.com so you can see what I'm talking about. Fox News, a poll shows higher interest giving the GOP edge in the 2022 midterm election. Now, here's the actual numbers so you can see them for yourself. If you go back to 2018, you can see the Democrats have higher numbers than the Republicans did regarding the vote. You can see there at the bottom, 46% for the Democrats and 41% for the Republicans. Well, if you fast forward to after all the damage that the Biden administration has done, January 2022 shows 43% preferring to vote for Democrats and 44% preferring to vote Republicans. Then just 1 month later, 1 month, we have 45% for Democratic candidates and 49% who are intending on voting more Republican. 49%. This is a huge slap in the face for the Democratic Party. And
I don't care about none of this shit. I'm just showing you how when we sent the poster magazines of the truth and nothing but the truth, we were sending what they needed to know. You people are criminals, and you need to know what you're doing to us. You can't continue to start genocide and continue to bring genocide on a people that you were never supposed to be around. You're from another country, really from another planet, and you came here on some Paul Revere shit, like I keep saying. So what we're doing is that we're giving it to them, the truth, and that's what's biting them in the ass, and they're jumping over to the Republican side. But the Republican is guilty too, because they sat back on our misery. You sat back and watched us be hanged and all this shit, and you're forcing the indigenous people to pay rent on their own land, and that's abomination. You can't do that. So since 2006, I've been writing to the mayor, governors, presidents, letting them know the rules and regulations of the Promised Land, and that if they don't take heed to it, this is how they're going to die. And I always let them know that. That's why they always send me letters and say, okay, they're sorry, they apologize, and they can only give me housing. Okay, great, yes, but I have brothers. I have brothers that are victims. I have families. I have uncles that are victims. I have people that I don't even know that are victims. So that needs to, and what we're talking about is we're talking about hypocrisy. We're talking about genocide on indigenous people. We're talking about you've been locking up innocent people in prison, like Dr. Z. York, Larry Hoover. You've been locking the Black Panthers. You shot Martin Luther King and his mama. You know what I'm saying? And the FBI is guilty of that. And Dr. Martin Luther King's lawyer found them all guilty. The FBI was all guilty of them murdering Dr. Martin Luther King, his mother, and his brother. And I even got in contact with Dr. Martin Luther King's lawyer. His name is it's an interesting name, but this is really his name. His name is Dr. Pepper. And but that's his name. So anyway, I got a hold of him, Dr. Pepper, and that's Martin Luther King's lawyer. And I wanted him to take my case. This was a long time ago. This was like in 2013. I wanted him to take my case in setting up the rules and regulations of the Promised Land. So now it has to come down to Trump filing a lawsuit. Now the reason why he filed the lawsuit is because he has the backing of the indigenous, me. And otherwise, he wouldn't be able to file a lawsuit against another of his own race because they'll just tell him to shut up and say, well, you're not indigenous neither. So you have no leeway. That's why he never sued before. He never sued before. That's why nobody white sued their own kind in America, because they have no weight in filing a lawsuit and getting them out of America when they're both foreign criminals. They have to. That's why they always pick coons to talk for them, just like the UN. The UN, they always have black people to speak for them. Just right now, the UN and the NATO have a black woman speaking for them to the Russians. Yeah, so they got the coons speaking for them because now, of course, Russia and Putin don't give a shit. They say, well, we already know you got the coon sitting up there speaking for you. You don't have because a real indigenous woman would not be sitting there with y'all, because then she'll be the criminal. Either just like what's his name, Judge Joe Brown. He's a criminal. He's Choctaw. He knows that he's from Choctaw, but yet he sentenced innocent black Choctaw men, innocent black men to prison, innocent indigenous Negroes to prison, and yet he's indigenous himself. He was never supposed to be a judge against his people. He's supposed to be a judge for his people. Okay, so that's why a lot of black men, well, all black men are messed up because they don't, I'm talking about messed up with the government. The government messes them up because they don't have nobody to speak for them and say, hey, if you get pulled over, next time you get pulled over, make sure before y'all get pulled over, get your information correct. Make sure that you know who you are, that you're indigenous to this land, and that they're not. And that 640 acres is yours. And no white cop, Chinese, Mexican can tell you where to lay or stay. They can't accuse you of a crime. In fact, the court judge and prosecution that accused Larry Hoover of doing whatever he did, they have to go to prison. Literally. Because no black man is a criminal on his own land. There's no such thing as that. You can't be a criminal on your own land, especially from another white European perspective. A white European have to shut the fuck up forever because you're not indigenous to America. Okay? So you're indigenous to Helsinki, Russia. Technically, in Helsinki, Russia, in the Caucasus Mountains. And we all have to wear the badge. That's why I patent the company. Shia and the Jesuit Community Preservation of the Promised Land is patent. And you have to, every black, white, green, purple, every color have to wear the badge of where we are indigenous to. Okay? And so, and it'll say where we're indigenous to, so that no white cop can tell any black person, I don't care if the black person shot another black man on his own land. That's none of a white cop's or white person's business. It's between the person that shot him and the victim, and the victim's, and the witnesses and the victim's family. Is between that man. There's no such thing as a court. You got to go to court. You got to wait on trial. The only reason why there's a court is for the parasites to have their own trial, so they can be found not guilty according to their peers. So that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. Hold on. Trying to erase this shit. Okay, so they don't have a right to lock or accuse any black man of any crime. They can't accuse you of, dang. Anyway, no white person can accuse you of a crime.
and the Biden administration. I cannot.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you how she's excited that the Biden administration is going down. And why are they going down? Because we sent the poster magazines to them to show them what they've done and that there's nowhere for them to run and hide. So now they're jumping ship. They're jumping ship and they're going to the Republican side, which the Republican is also guilty of sitting back and watching our misery. They were supposed to arrest the ones who would tell you not to have reparations, to tell you they were supposed to arrest the ones who would accuse someone like Larry Hoover of a kind of crime. For one, if Larry Hoover committed a crime between his peers, his black people, that's between him and his people. No white judge, jury, cop is supposed to even be in the business of a black woman's business at all, because you people are not from this land. And you came here as criminals, as Paul Revere's bloodline, because Paul Revere was saying the British were coming. The British were coming. What were they coming to do? They were coming to execute all of you white people. You were supposed to die here by the black and British Moors. You were all supposed to be executed. And you were all the lookout for the British. You were looking out for the British. But what happened was when the British came here and they found that you guys can go in and steal the land and the silver and the gold of ours, then you guys shut up about it and was allies from ever since. That's NATO. You're allies with NATO because NATO both was stealing all of our land and resources together. Now you have good white people are now the victims because they have to be forced to take the voom vooms. Because if you got good white people sitting back and watching our misery, then the good white people are gonna die. You live by the sword, you're gonna die by that bitch. You sit by and looking at us live in misery, you're gonna die too. So that's why the majority of all the white people that's taking the voom vooms, 70% of them are going. So now so now my grandbaby is crying. I got all my girls. Okay, so my grandbaby is crying. So I'm going to have to end this, but I'll leave a link, but what I wanted to show you, it was that that was Lisa Haven. Now, I just like to show you what is happening to her people. So when I show you Lisa Haven, I'm just showing you what's going on with her people. I'm not saying, just look at what's happening if you want to know information on what's going on. She doesn't know about anything about what we're doing about the poster magazine, sending it to the monsters that is ruling over us. And, well, they're not ruling over us now. They're in trouble. They've been in trouble since 2019. Okay, so, so let me pause this for a minute. Hold on.